Hello, hello.
Hello.
There was totally not a second opening to this where Jade instantly wanted to cut it. There was definitely no threats of violence. There's no threats of violence towards
Puppies were almost harmed in the making of
puppies.
this episode.
I was choke slammed through a table because of my statements. Jade is a violent person and they need to be watched out for. This is a public call out. I was harmed.
I am verbally violent.
Verbally violent. You are
That is
threatening
kind
me.
of the extent of my violence. Like, just on a note for that, like, I am more, far, far more verbally violent and extremely physically non-violent.
You little chihuahua.
Yeah, like like very true. I will get verbally violent with someone, but I'm very rarely, if ever, physically violent. I've only been in one real fight in my entire life, and I lost.
Yeah,
And I'm
we.
kind of proud of the fact that
Yeah,
I lost, to be honest, because it also shows me or points towards the fact that I'm not generally a violent person.
yeah. Too bad though that you lost so bad that it kind of fucked up your face a bit. Only in the short term, because
Yeah,
you're still pretty, still
I
beautiful.
mean, in a sort of riff-raff kind of way.
It's almost Christmas time, everyone. It's
Happy Yule.
Happy Yule. I still don't know what Yule means. I've asked every time it comes up and I don't know. I don't remember. I forget every time. Does it just
You
mean
know,
Christmas?
you know all the pagan parts of
Yes.
Christmas? That's
Yeah.
Yule.
That's Yule. Okay. So when they say Yuletide wishes or whatever the fuck, that's
Yes.
yeah. Okay. So you sell
And
you
you burn
use
the Yule log,
yes, the Yule log. I am aware of that.
right? You know,
Yeah.
I think what I liked was there was a post somewhere that pointed out putting up a tree and decorating it is witchcraft. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember that post.
you know,
Yeah.
Christmas time where Christians casually practice witchcraft and don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, I mean, I like Christmas, not for any of the traditional Christmassy reasons, but because my family makes a big meal and stuff, and it's a cozy time because there's no work or school for the most part. I don't work Christmas, so
You
it's a
know,
nice cozy holiday.
do you know what's an interesting bit of Christmas trivia I have since we are on the
Yes.
topic of Christmas? Let's go with it.
Okay. What's
Do
the
you know
Christmas
why
trivia?
Santa Claus is red in his suit?
Coca-Cola.
Do you know what color his suit originally was in first tellings?
Blue.
Green.
Green.
Yes, the original
Oh.
Santa Claus wore green suit.
That's for the red and green.
Coca-Cola had an advertising campaign where they had Santa wear red to match the color of their brand, and Santa's been wearing red ever since.
I'm trying to think to Christmas Carol if the depictions of anything there is a lot of green, but that's kind of like the first thing that was ever really big on Christmas. Christmas Carol kind of popularized Christmas for a lot of people. So I'm trying to think if anything there was over depicted as green, but I can't remember.
Do you want to know another messed up thing about Christmas when it comes to local Christmas traditions?
Are you gonna talk about the blackface in the Netherlands?
Yeah. We gotta bring up pictures of this. What was the name of that
I think
thing they
it's
had?
Tom, but Tom is just my go-to
Zwarte
name to like blackface.
Zwarte Piet.
Okay, I'm gonna type in Netherlands Christmas blackface. So this is a yikes. Yes. Oh yeah, it's Pete.
Zwarte
It was
Piet.
Pete. It was Ash
Zwarte
Pete,
Piet.
Ashy Pete or whatever. Black Pete.
Zwarte Piet.
Yeah. This is Santa's chimney sweep helper. He's a
Um,
black Moor, and it's just blackface. They modernized it to give him just
mm,
some soot, but ooh,
It is unfortunate.
Santa has slaves. Well, here he is. He's right here. 1850. That's neat.
Yeah, but remember, they've now
Ooh.
they've now put together the imagery of Saint Nicholas.
Yeah.
Like, the idea is much older, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm worried about now? You know when
What?
YouTube auto has the thumbnails, and that's kind of how we've been doing the thumbnails for a bit? I'm terrified that this will be in the auto thumbnail.
Yes, but I select the thumbnail.
Oh, okay, okay.
When I do the upload, I select the thumbnail.
Well, normally when I do them, the episodes I normally get are the ones where where all the selections that you can choose from are this.
Yeah, for the most part, because as we keep this screen up.
Yeah. What's the Austria does some pretty cool stuff for Christmas, I remember. Like a
Austria
crap.
is a cool place.
Yeah, this shit.
Sometimes, like, really shitty people come from Austria, but
Like
Austria's,
Hitler.
that's Krampus,
Yeah, Krampus, yeah. It's like a Krampus parade, yeah. This shit's
which I
cool.
think is super fucking
This
cool.
shit's cool. This shit's really cool. Yeah. They're really cool. They're really cool. Here's a Krampus parade,
Yeah.
another one here. I opened up TikTok on accident. Oh, we could talk about TikTok getting actually banned because TikTok's gonna get banned in like
This is true.
an actual couple of
But
days.
they're not
Yeah,
gonna get banned.
they probably will. I don't know because they've said
No,
multiple times.
I I know what is going to prevent the TikTok ban.
What is it gonna be?
Your wonderful new president.
Oh, you're right. He probably loves TikTok.
He likes TikTok.
The thing is with TikTok, they've said they're doing it to protect Israel and shit like that because there's a lot of incriminating things that the IDF posts on there, and also there's a lot of anti-Israeli movements that appear on TikTok, and they want to do
You
that because
see,
TikTok is the most leftist platform. That's why they want to do it. I'm pretty sure like Mitt Romney said that on
that's
accident.
nuance, right?
Yeah,
Do you know who's not capable of nuance?
Donald Trump.
Your wonderful new president.
Just continuous moaning for like an hour of just sighs of pain.
Oh yes.
Uh,
Yeah, no, I don't think TikTok's actually gonna get the axe unless it
no.
properly happens before he takes office.
It might. I mean, he was saying they're gonna ban TikTok. Vote for me, and I'll unban TikTok. They're gonna ban it, but I'll unban it because I don't want TikTok banned. He did say that at some point or something.
Because I do imagine that he sits on TikTok.
I do imagine that. There was that video, I remember. There's that video, I forget what he was doing specifically, but there was a video of him at a party where he was just scrolling through Spotify on an iPad, listening to Frank Sinatra. Hold on. Trump on iPad. That's just like a very funny photo, and I imagine him just scrolling through TikTok on it. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Because if you type in Trump on iPad at party, it gives you Trump on iPad, which is like him in an Oval Office, or Trump party. I can't find it. It's a funny photo. It's a very funny photo. It's like a blurry photo taken from like 3 tables down, or zoomed in on him.
I do think it tracks
Like
though.
looking at an iPad baby. Yeah, no, old people love their fucking phones. They love them.
This is true. Like, there's an older person I know. I'll just say it's my mom's husband, and there's multiple times where like I go visit there. My mom will be having a conversation with me. The TV will be on, like, usually on some like old 70s or 80s TV show.
what's the
And he'll be
channel?
sitting on his
Me
phone
TV.
on Facebook, like like playing clips and videos that people post super loud, like you can't have a
Exactly what my
conversation. And
grandfather does.
and it's just like, do, do you just not?
So many old people at my break room at work will just sit there and they'll play like Facebook videos at like fucking max volume in the break room, and it'll be like a video of like a cat or something, and they're just max blasting it. Sometimes it'll be a video from like a fucking right wing news channel, but sometimes it's just like a dog really loud.
Yeah, it's just sometimes random stuff. Sometimes like with him specifically, it's usually like people posting Afrikaans music, which is a thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's wonderful.
There's a South African meme where like they say every boykie from Bloemfontein with a guitar has a CD out, which is kind of unironically true.
So I don't know what
Like
that first word meant, but
boykie, it's
boyki,
boy, and then in Afrikaans to diminutize something. Like kitty
right?
instead of just cat, like kitty cat, like
Mhm.
the T is diminutize to diminutive the word.
Okay, so it's kind of like to insult. That's
Well,
kind of
it's
like
more
not
not
insult,
even insult, but just make like
like a
boyki would infer like a young boy.
okay, so like a naive, whatever, like a
Yeah,
young. Every guy with a guitar from Bloemfontein has a CD out.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, no, that's funny. That's kind of like LA, you know.
yeah.
It's
It's
like LA.
like one day I'll take you down the very strange path of Afrikaans music, and you can experience this for yourself. But it really is like these young guys from Afrikaans culture who make what essentially equates to the equivalent of bad country music
Oh God.
for you.
So it's not like the Antwoord.
No, no, it's very much more like bad country music, like
Okay.
singing about the girl and
The beer in
you
hand and
know,
the ash in the sand.
I wouldn't say the beer in hand, but yeah, just like very much like because it's all tied in with what a genre called socky, which is a
Sucky.
type of dance style in South Africa. I wonder if there's like some kind of article I can bring up for this. Let's see.
Black Black Tom,
Uh,
Black Pete popping up.
yeah, here we go. Style of dance unique to South Africa, most popular with Afrikaners. It's a type of
Ballroom.
ballroom dance. Langarm, saki saki,
Water pump.
cotillions,
Dutch is a
or
fake language.
waterpomp.
Saki saki.
Langarm is long arm, long arm.
Yeah, exactly. It's
And you can imagine it's that you know what dance style, like you can picture
I'm
more or less
imagining
what
square
this,
dancing.
like not square dancing. Square dancing I imagine is more like standing in a line and doing stuff, right?
I don't think I have the right view of what square dancing is in home. Let me pull it up then. Saki video. I'm pulling up on my screen over here. I don't think I could
This
play
is
that.
so bad. This is so bad.
It's the most
Like this is
trashy
not a
shit.
good example. This is like professional dancing, like sort of stuff.
Here.
You know, obviously it's a lot.
Okay, this is I don't I
This
don't
is what
want
it's gonna give you.
I don't want fucking tutorials on how to sake. I want people fucking sakeing. I don't want that shit. I fucking Google is useless. Google is like actually just a useless service.
Let's see if this is something. Nope, because it immediately wanted to open Facebook links. So that should give you an idea of the culture there.
Well, sake is a mystery.
Like it's really basic long arm dancing. That's like
Like hands
ballroom but easier.
over people's hands and over people's shoulders and stuff and like
Yeah, over the shoulder, one arm long out. You
Okay,
know?
like a okay, I can kind of picture it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was picturing like people like kicking the feet in the air like
No, no. This is why I will take you down this journey one day when you are prepared.
when I'm prepared. I must steel myself for the journey into this.
Yeah, no, it's not great.
uh you know what I've been I said dis and now I'm like my brain just got like sucked into that mind space of Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh god. You are in a journey of Baldur's
I
Gate. It's
am
starting to overtake your favorite game.
It is. I mean, I was thinking about it last night. I think Disco Elysium will still be my favorite game of all time because the writing in Disco Elysium is unparalleled. Like Baldur's Gate 3 has fun, witty writing. It has like clever writing. It has like attention to detail. But Disco Elysium is like a novel. Like Baldur's
I
Gate 3 is
think
a D&D campaign. Disco Elysium is a novel. There's a different
I
standard of writing.
I think the difference there as well, at least for you, and this is, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but just on a personal basis, I think that because you are so politically minded as well, the ways that Disco Elysium feeds into that is far more intriguing to you from a writing perspective than just like this is a very well done D&D campaign.
That's also true. I mean, it's also due to the fact that I don't have a history of loving D&D or anything. Like I don't have like a like this is basically my first time ever touching a D&D related thing. So the appreciation of how well written it is as a D&D campaign is kind of lost on me. Not in like a, it's I just don't have exposure to it. But also, yeah, I do I love more so just not more than just the politics part of this Elysium, but just the world it sets up itself and all the people who live in it and their interactions with the world. It's like a masterclass in world building.
Sociologically,
Yeah, like
yeah.
all that aspect of it. Like Disco Elysium really delves deep into all of what it discusses. Whereas like Baldur's Gate is amazing from more of a how wide and grand it is and how much you are able to do and how much it covers. The writing isn't like it's good. Like the writing is amazing in Baldur's Gate 3, but it's not trying to do a Disco Elysium. It's not
Yes.
trying to be a novel. It's trying to be a D&D campaign.
Yes.
So I think because of that, it'll keep it out of my favorite because Disco Elysium has that shit on luck. Plus, the art style of Disco Elysium is my favorite in any video game ever. The the humor in Disco Elysium makes me laugh every time. Like, there's just everything about Disco Elysium is made entirely for me. Well, Baldur's Gate is like second place. I think it overtook Fallout New Vegas because Fallout New Vegas for the longest time was my favorite game, and then I played Disco Elysium, and now Baldur's Gate overtakes Fallout New Vegas, but I'd still love Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas
I
is still
know,
great.
I know. The thing is that I noticed because you've been playing Baldur's Gate off stream and
Yes.
New Vegas on stream.
Yeah.
And what I'm noticing is that it seems the frustrations of New Vegas. Because let's admit one thing, even our favorite games have frustrations.
Oh, Baldur's Gate had frustrating moments for sure.
Sure. But the frustrations of New Vegas are more pervasive than the
Yeah.
frustrations in Baldur's Gate.
It was mostly
They're
just
weaved more into the entirety of the game than like, oh,
yeah.
this fight sucks. It's like
Yeah.
this whole area sucks. These types of enemies suck.
It was
Like
mainly my main complaint was Dead Money, and Dead Money is a DLC that people complain about all the time for how annoying it is. So I'm not alone in this, but it was
that's true.
I had a better experience of Dead Money the last playthrough than most people do. Most people fucking struggle through the whole thing. I just struggled in one specific room, and it's that room in the vault at the very end of the
Mm.
DLC where there is there's 3 holograms in a room and there's speakers going off and you have to do parkour to get there in perfect timing. And it's just like, oh, I hate it. That one
But
room sucked, but everything else was fun. I like Dead Money.
I will I will give another example though from my favorite DLC from New Vegas.
Old World Blues.
Old World Blues. The Robo Scorpions.
Oh yeah, fuck those. Way
Like
too much
for
high armor.
real, they're bad.
They're horrible. They're horrible.
They're actually bad. Like there's so many good things in Old World Blues, but they're just and the Robo Scorpions are everywhere.
They're like they hit you all the time. They're like hit squads. Like they fucking come after
Yeah,
you.
which means it's not an issue of, oh, this fight sucks. It's like this pervasive thing woven into what Old World Blues is.
Right, right,
And that's the difference between the frustrations of something like Baldur's Gate and, you know, New
right.
Vegas.
Because in Baldur's Gate, when things get annoying, it's this fight designed to be annoying, like your gear.
Yes.
Like your gear, I was
Your
stuck
gear
on
is
your
not
gear
meant to
for
be
an hour.
easy.
Yeah, I was stuck on your gear for like an hour, maybe not an hour, probably like half an hour. It
You
was it
did
was a long time.
reload like
I reloaded a lot.
100 times in that
I
fight.
reloaded a lot in that fight because but basically as soon as I killed the thing I noticed about that fight is as soon as I got your gear down, it was just crowd control.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's just a bastard to kill because if you don't focus all your energy on killing him instantly, it's a nightmare.
Yeah. And then he turns invisible and he
Once he
walks
turns
3 feet
invisible,
in some random
and
direction,
you
and you're
lose
just
him
like, oh,
forever.
fuck all this.
You lose him forever. But yeah, like your gear made my head fucking pound. The whole Temple of Shar sucked. I don't like Act 2. I don't hate it. I love Act 2. Like I still love parts of it.
The
Like,
beginning of Act 2 is very much
well, if we count
like beautiful in that dark way.
yeah, if you count the beginning of Act 2 as the underground area and the mountain pass, I love that part. Like
Well,
the
the
mountain
mountain pass, I would argue, is still very Act 1. As soon
yeah.
as you get into the Underdark, whichever route you take,
Mhm.
as soon as you get into the Underdark, I feel like that's now the beginning of Act 2.
Yeah. I mean the mountain pass area with the creche, that area was really cool. I like that area a lot. The underground area is amazing. I love that area a lot. The dwarven temple thing they have going on, the Ketheric Thorm temple that is controlled by the
Yeah.
dwarves and where near is, that area is really cool. The beginning areas of the Underdark where it's all gloomy and like evil, that part's cool. And then the inn's cool and the town's cool. It's just really the Temple of Shar that I don't like.
Yeah, I can only really recall one kind of annoying fight in Act 1, but it's annoying in a funny way as well, and that's the Grimskas.
Yeah, the one in the Gresh Creche.
Yes,
Yeah, that
the
one.
one it's nearby the
Yeah,
crash
it's like in
where
the Creche.
they're the wild magic.
Yeah, where you hit them and then they like with a spell and then they become like, oh, whoa, I'm a new spell being shot out. That fight was funny. It wasn't too hard though, for me at
Hmm.
least, because I stood
It's just
outside of it and lured them all out.
if you focused spellcasting, that fight is far more annoying.
Yeah, Karlak was able to take care of it pretty easily though, luckily.
Yeah,
But
just swing the big stick at them,
Karlak
the
and
Teuton,
Lae'zel,
as it were.
Karlak and Lae'zel were able to take care of it. Gale was effectively useless that fight though. I had him
Yeah,
enlarge
Gale's not
Karlak
good.
and that was it. But yeah, Baldur's Gate has been consuming my life. I just made it to Baldur's Gate properly, like just inside the city. I took care of everything in Rivington and everything. Not everything in Rivington, but I went through Rivington and I made it into the city proper. But yeah, it very quickly rose up the ranks to being such an adored game by me, and it makes me really want to start our D&D campaign, which we should be able to
Exactly.
start. I mean, after Christmas is probably best because everyone's gonna be busy. Like David's gonna be busy for Christmas because he has family coming down and stuff. But once that's all settled and everyone's gone for his side of the family, and I'm not being dragged around anywhere, we can start the D&D campaign.
Absolutely. I'm
So
excited for it.
that'll
You
be a
can
very
see
fun.
now why I got so excited.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Plus David needs to
Because
prepare some stuff. I'm sure.
this was the year where Baldur's Gate almost, I would say, as soon as I got through Act 1, it became my favorite game almost instantly.
Real, yeah. I mean, I could totally see that. Act 1 is really good.
And then just in the past 2 weeks, it's been overtaken already.
By
But
Dwarf
I'm a different
Fortress.
type of gamer.
Yeah, Dwarf Fortress. We talked about it a
Dwarf
lot
Fort
last week.
we did, so I'll just mention I'm still fortressing. I'm over 100 hours.
100 hours in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't think a game has ever gotten that much because even though I've been playing so much Baldur's Gate, it's still only at like 60 hours.
To be fair, you're very strict on your Baldur's Gate time because you won't boot it up
Yeah.
unless you have at minimum 4 hours. Like I've seen you have 3 hours free and you're like, I can't play.
Yeah, I don't like playing Baldur's Gate if there's something I have to do later in the day, like work or something. Like I only play Baldur's Gate if
You've
my night is
actively put
free.
off streams.
Yeah, I have put off streams because I want to play Baldur's Gate. Like I'm that kind of I'm pretty bad when it comes to time management. If there's something later in the day, like 2 hours away, I'll just not do anything for 2 hours. I won't enjoy that time. I won't use that time. That time is now, oh, I have something to do soon, so I can't get invested in anything. At best, I'll watch a movie, but like even then, like I don't do
Yeah.
anything. I waste a lot of time because I'm too anxious about wasting time. Like it's a very self-eating cycle. Maybe I should start working mornings, and then I could fix it. But classes, I think it's because of classes that I can't work mornings. Even though
It's
yeah,
classes.
yeah, it just
But
sucks.
speaking of streaming,
Yes.
I think that's a good segue into the importance of your community.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
so
of recent
recent
events.
events, lots of things have happened in multiple
Yeah,
communities.
yeah,
And I think like just at an abstract level, like I don't think a lot of new streamers like really understand how important it is to cut parts of your community that affect other parts in negative ways.
like snip the buds.
Like snip the buds. Like losing one viewer can save you hundreds.
Yeah,
Like
if
trying to appeal to that one person who's a bit of a prick can do more damage to your community than you know
yeah,
trying to please them.
yeah,
Like
like if you have someone who's a piece of shit in the community and they cause problems for everyone, and you for some reason want to make that one person happy, it's gonna make everyone else unhappy, and it's gonna encourage more people like that person who's really pissed off to come in, and
because
then you
they
have a
are
shitty
usually the
community.
louder in your community.
Yeah,
They're usually they'll have more of the things to say.
yeah. What I find a lot is people like that often feel entitled to like special treatment or something.
Yeah,
They'll be like, "Oh, I support you all the time, and I deserve like my opinion to be heard over others." Like, shut the fuck up.
yeah. Because I've also noticed it also starts getting inflamed with politics, right? People's
Hmm.
political beliefs start coming out. Like, oh, they also another big tell is a persecution complex.
Yeah, like, oh, why are you
I'm
insulting me?
lonely.
Yeah,
People abandon me. I've been insulted for just being like this way or having an opinion. And it's like, what is that opinion?
yeah. I see that a lot. Like I typically don't judge people if they've had a rough go of it with friends, because I have too. I went like large portion of like my time in school as a kid was spent without any friends. So I get what it's like to be alone and feel that people are out to get you. I get that. But then when the reasoning you find for that is that your opinions drive people away, it's like, well, look at your opinions. Like you're
Introspect.
like you're not like I know why I didn't have many friends. It's because I didn't try, like I didn't know how to make them, right? I wasn't actively making friends. I didn't know how to keep friends.
Yeah,
I wasn't really like an aspect of my character that like, oh, I figured out what my issue was. Oh, I have trouble keeping up with people, and I'm still bad at it, but I've gotten better at it. But then if your reason you have no friends is like, oh, I drive them away with like me speaking my mind. It's like, well, what are you speaking your mind about? What are you
Yeah,
saying? Does this
it's
need
introspection
reflection?
because look, this is a fine line, right? It can go either way because we do live in a world where, like, for example, there's a difference between feeling persecuted and you are a normal, straight person who, like, happens to like Trump
Yeah.
and you lose a lot of friends. And there's a difference between that and being trans in a red state.
Yeah.
Like, either one's going to lose you friends, but it takes introspection to understand why. And I've found, at least personally, that in this example, the trans person in a red state has done far more introspection than just the Trump supporting nut.
Right.
Right?
I think being trans requires so much introspection already because you have to question your identity to even get to that state. So there's kind of like a I don't know what the word would be, but like the hurdles that the Trump supporter have to go through, the trans person already made it through.
Yeah. So it is a fine line, but I do recommend, at least from a personal perspective, if you feel that you're driving your friends away or you struggle to keep friends and it comes down to, oh, we had an argument about politics or something like that, introspect.
Yeah, think about
Whether
like
you're on the
yeah.
left or the right, introspect.
Think about if the opinions you hold are the ones you believe in truly, or if they're the ones that are convenient or ones that are kind of thrown upon you by the people around you, like your family or whatever. Like, think
Yeah,
about why you hold your opinions and what you feel is best. Because even if
like,
you are conservative, I won't be sitting here telling you that you're wrong, because you are wrong. But
well,
you are
look,
wrong.
there's varying levels of conservatism
Yeah,
here, right?
yeah.
There's a lot. That's the problem, is that
It
there's
is the yeah.
so much nuance.
Maybe not conservative. Let me say this: if you're a fascist, you're an idiot.
Yes.
You're an idiot. But I think it should be up to you to determine why you're an idiot. Like you have
Yes.
to take it upon yourself to be like, oh, I've been being an idiot because of this.
Because,
So
look,
yeah,
if you're conservative in the way of, like,
the Trump
I am
supporters is what I
somebody,
mean.
no, well, no, well, yeah, you mean like the Trump
Yeah,
supporter,
that's what
but
I
I
mean.
mean more in the line of, I'm conservative in that I don't like a lot of foul language out in the public. I
Right.
don't like talks of sexualization, whether it be any kind.
A classic
Like,
hand to mouth. Think of the children conservative.
I've seen older groups of people who see normal, straight public displays of affection and go like, keep it out of the public eye.
Yeah.
Because that type of conservatism is not necessarily wrong, it comes from a different place.
It comes
But
from
if you're
just
somebody who's okay with
aversion.
seeing a guy and a girl kiss, but when you see two guys kissing, you're immediately like, ew, then you have to question what your standards are. Like, you should have the ability to stand behind your beliefs at a core level, not just a surface level.
I actually kind of respect people who are like that first type of person you said who don't like any form of public affection because that's like a very grandma thing. You know, it's
Yeah,
like, oh, grandma doesn't want me and my boyfriend sitting on the couch together, but it's not because she's homophobic. It's because she doesn't like seeing me sit on my boyfriend's lap. You know, it's like,
yeah.
like that's just like ew. Like
Like,
if you were a girl,
they
it'd be the
wouldn't
same
like
thing.
seeing it in a straight couple
Yeah,
either.
like it's like a very much oh, it's grandma's house rules. You know, don't kiss in grandma's house because the Lord is watching and that's unholy. You know, it's like okay, whatever.
Yeah,
It's dumb, but it's not hateful. It's just grandma's rules. You know?
yeah, no, exactly. And if people just did that introspection and found out whether their views can be applied equally, because that's
Yeah.
that's that's a good litmus test, I think. That's a good gauge of your values, is that if you can apply them equally without causing issue, then by all means, your values are your values, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, oh, it's okay when the straights do it, but not when the not straights do it.
Yeah.
Then you're starting to create unequal values for
Right.
different groups of people.
Right.
Interracial couples are also a thing. Like even in South Africa, I mean, South Africa's a population that is majority black. So of course you're going to have interracial couples. This does exist here, but
Mhm.
so many of the older generation are still like, oh, my daughter / son brings home a person of color, and that's a problem. So like, why? What is the standard there that you're applying?
I don't know if it's the
It's a
same.
racial one.
I don't know if it's the same in South Africa because the racial dynamics are different. But in America, I know that a lot of old white people who say that are just racist, but a lot of black people say that out of like they lived in a time where they were actively fucking being segregated. So it's like out of kind of safety, like you just date a black guy
No, it
because you'll
does
be
go
better
both
off.
ways.
Yeah. So I don't know how that is
No,
in
even
South
in South
Africa,
Africa,
but there's a lot of
in
like,
South Africa, it also does go both ways.
yeah.
But I've been in an interracial relationship with a Muslim,
Mhm.
and I will say, I bring them to my family, I'm gonna get eyes.
Right.
And for certain people in their family, I did get, you know, sort of like singled out. But I would say they were far more welcoming and open.
Mhm. I mean, I'm not surprised by that really.
Yeah.
When I was in middle school, I like quote unquote dated because it was like middle school dating. You know, you're like, we're
Yeah.
dating. And yeah, but I dated a Mexican girl. And I remember my family being like, Mexican girl, you have standards. And it's like, I didn't get it at the time. I was like, well, what do you mean? Is she ugly? And it's like, And it's like, oh, well, I mean, obviously it didn't work out because it was a fucking middle school relationship.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah, obviously. But
But
like, my family were very
sometimes it is
relieved.
like subtle.
Yeah.
It's not always directly
Yeah.
stated. But it's like the behind closed doors thing when you'll hear from like, oh, you go visit your uncle and your uncle will talk about their sibling's kid. And
Hmm.
it's like, oh, did you hear? Did you hear? They're dating a colored person.
Did
And
you
it's like,
hear?
what do you, if they were dating like a white person, you wouldn't be having this conversation in this way with me. This is clearly a racial thing, but it's the subtlety of how it's like brought up, if that makes sense.
Right, right. It's
I don't
like,
like it.
yeah, I don't like, oh, racism's bad. Hot take from the
Racism
Squeaky
is
Dog
bad.
Cast.
That's the
The
take here.
Squeaky
Is
Dog
is
Cast
is
has the
racism is
real
bad.
opinions that everyone needs to listen to. Broadcast this. Racism is bad.
Racism is bad. Racism, homophobia, sexism, these are all bad things.
You know, maybe if we want to continue the downer train a bit, on the topic of like minorities, it's kind of looking pretty bad after the Trump victory for like trans representation in media. A lot of
In media,
like
already,
yeah, because
that's
I want to bring
like,
up Disney.
oof.
Disney had a show. Disney does this a lot. Disney has had a streak recently of taking down. They've always done this because Alex Hirsch, the guy who made Gravity Falls, has talked about this. That Disney fucking hates gay people behind closed doors. This is not a secret.
This is not a
This is not a
secret. I
secret at all.
mean,
In the
Walt himself was incredibly
Walt was a
anti-Semitic
Nazi. Yeah,
and
he was a Nazi.
racist.
Yeah, but Disney and to the public will be like, "Oh, we love gay people," and behind closed doors, they obviously try to censor any sort of gay representation. We knew this with Gravity Falls, and we knew this with what's that show, Owl House. and stuff. And it's not just Disney. Cartoon Network does the same thing with Steven Universe with Lily. And that was it was not Lily Orchard's the word. I hate Gravity Falls. What's her name? Rebecca Sugar. Rebecca Sugar had that first lesbian marriage in a show, and they got through censors because they made it a part of an episode that if they cut, it would cut out significant plot portions, so they couldn't cut it when it aired in other countries. And they also made the more masculine character of the lesbian relationship wear the dress, so that would also not be able to be censored out as them being a woman. So they did a whole bunch of censoring in that part, but working on the censors there, really respect that episode honestly for that. But the Disney, they canceled an episode a while ago of a show called Dinosaur and Moon Girl. I don't know what the fuck the show is, but it had a trans character in it, and they cut it out. And they also just did that for another show they had, where it's been all over my Twitter feed. I'm not gonna pull up my Twitter feed on on stream, but it was an episode where that's the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. That's what it's called. I think it's a Marvel show. Yeah, it's Marvel. Yeah, no idea anything about it. But it's like a children's show.
I've never heard of this.
Never have I either. But yeah, maybe it's related to Moon Knight. I have no idea. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick by googling Disney. Let's type in trans episode.
But I will say this for Disney, they are the corporate business of Disney is 100% homophobic, conservative sort of style, right?
Found it.
The filmmakers who work on Disney projects are generally far more left-leaning, and I think that's where work their way around the Disney culture.
Yeah. I found this is the animatic that was cut. Honestly, makes me tear up a bit because it's really nice, and Disney cut it. Disney cut it. Disney cut it because Disney's evil.
So it's like from this show, I see.
It's this show, yeah.
I recognize the imagery. I don't follow a lot of Disney stuff, as you know.
This being cut was the first time I ever saw anything about that show. But yeah, fuck Disney for that.
There's actually a lot of good filmmaking in there, but I would say that
was a very good
put that together. Was not from Disney. If that makes sense.
Yeah, they aren't a Disney executive. They're a creative hired by Disney.
Right.
Yeah.
In the same way that James Gunn and Sam Raimi.
Yeah, the same way we brought into
worked
Marvel.
For Disney.
The same way
but
that
they are not themselves Disney.
Alex Hirsch was brought on to make Gravity Falls. Like he was put in and he wanted to make his stuff, and they put restrictions on everything he wanted to make, and then he complained about it recently, and it was a big thing. But yeah, fuck Disney. We know. Did you know about the thing from the 80s that I think it was called Club Disney. It was like a nightclub for teenagers at Disneyland, and they outlawed homosexual slow dancing, as they called it.
Wow.
And I'm gonna see if I can find it. Homosexual. I can't type. Slow dancing Disney. Homosexual fast dancing. Sorry, I was right. I was wrong. They had a court ruling where these two gay men were like dancing, and they went to court over it. And Disney was like, I can't find it in this article, but Disney was like, okay, fine, you can do the homosexual fast dancing, but only these two gay men who won the court case can do it. It's still banned in the club, but only these two guys can do it because they won the court case. That was what happened because of that, because the wording was off. So they're like, oh, only these two guys can do homosexual fast dancing. Yeah, and that was in like the late 80s or early 90s or something. So them being unpopular for that then, they were always homophobic as hell, and they've always pushed the idea of the princess and the prince getting together, and then the gay-coded villain, who are always icons. They're always icons. It's always a classic.
Do you know
fable.
What Disney would do if they had any balls?
What would they do?
Imagine this, right? The classic prince story, as we all know, the Cinderella type, Sleeping Beauty, like high fantasy thing. But The princess is the guy.
You mean the princess? Like, what do you mean the princess is the guy? What do you mean by that?
Like
Like
the
the
role, like
prince?
that traditional role of the princess stuck in a tower, not able to do anything, naive, like all of that, saved by a strong, powerful, like woman.
To make it lesbian, you're saying?
Not necessarily lesbian. Look, I'm not, like just forming this idea as we speak, but just the idea where it's not the handsome prince that comes to save the princess, but rather like the rough and tumble sort of girl saving the meek, you know,
Yeah. I,
little guy
I see
who's
what you mean.
useless.
They kinda did that with Tangled, which was their version of Rapunzel, where they had Rapunzel just be like, I want to leave, and then she just leaves, and then she finds the guy in the movie who's like a fucking thief, and the two of them are kind of like treated as like
I
equals, where
feel
she's
like
more naive of the world.
trope
But
wise,
yeah, what you're describing isn't a
they
one-to-one
do
match, but
yeah. But what I'm
it's pretty
saying, if they had
close.
real balls, is that
Real balls.
they'd go for it, like
Yeah,
100%.
they had real balls. They make it two gay men.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that. I think here's part of the problem, right? And I think this was also like tied in with the Baldur's Gate thing, not to bring up Baldur's Gate specifically, but at one point you were like, wow, lesbian representation, like actual proper homosexual representation. But 99.9% of the time, it will be two women.
Yeah,
Gay men do not see that same level of representation generally in any kind of
and
media.
when
And
they
it's,
do, I will say this: when they do get that representation, it's typically in a comedy where the gay man hooks up with like a million other men, and they never have a happy ending with someone.
yeah, and it's played for laughs more than
Yeah,
anything. Whereas we are seeing more earnest representations of girl-girl relationships. I mean, this goes all the way back to Glee, right?
yeah.
Where they
Never get
had
me to
that
watch Glee.
actual earnest lesbian relationship. But even the gay guy in Glee never really, as far as I saw. Look, I never watched Glee myself as somebody who was interested in it. I had a partner who was really into Glee, and well, you know how that goes. But as far as I saw, the gay character, the sort of gay token character, never had that kind of long storied relationship taken seriously in the
Right,
series.
right. It's a real trope that I see a lot. But
It's down to the male gaze
yeah,
a lot.
also I think it's because I don't want to like stereotype here, but I think there's a lot more women creatives than men when it comes down to writing. I think that's, or at least
That could be
lesbians,
true.
because I feel like a
That
lot
could
of
be
the
true.
lesbian representation I see when it comes to like the Owl House or She-Ra, those are all women writers who are lesbians. So it's like them writing about themselves. So I think lesbians get more writing jobs than gay men. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I can't think of
But
too many gay
also
men writers. The guy who made Chucky's a gay
remember a
man.
lot of those gay men writers. Here's two factors that I think influence that. Number one, male writers who are gay are taught to
Mm,
shut up like shut up about that fact. Like they're
yeah,
not very easily accepted into large writing circles,
yeah.
especially for bigger corporate companies with large projects.
Hmm.
When they are allowed in, them trying to insert any type of male guy relationships is incredibly pushed to the side and frowned down upon
Right.
because the companies don't want it to look woke. That's the short answer of
Yeah.
it, is that companies don't want to look too woke. And I fear, now that I've actually sat in and thought about it, that that is going to become even more egregious in the next 4 years.
Yeah, we're gonna
Like,
enter a new wave of like this discussion around queerness and culture where it's almost entirely through indie like projects, through
yeah,
independent stuff. You're not gonna see it in big budget uh, films or games anymore. I mean, games maybe, because I think games kind of exist in a smaller sphere than a lot of films do because there's less prestige around them. So they're able to operate more loosey goosey
But
into a smaller
on that same
crowd.
note, where you are right, just do consider that even in games, it's far, far more common to see girl-girl relationships than
Yeah, yeah,
guy-guy
yeah.
ones.
Definitely,
Like
definitely.
this is a trope that goes beyond just like the film industry.
Hmm.
This is something that goes throughout, that sort of echoes throughout all of media.
Hmm. Definitely. It sucks. It sucks. And it's gonna get worse. But it gets you appreciating what we have, I suppose. I think it's really cool. Going back to Baldur's Gate, because I just can't get my head out of it. I think it's really cool that every character is bisexual. I think that's cool.
Yeah, canonically, every character is open to everyone.
Hmm. I think that's really cool. I think that's
Because
neat.
I think even Neil Newbon, the voice actor for Astarion, he
Hmm.
was directly asked about Astarion's sexuality. And his response was basically like, well, number one, you know, Astarion himself it's obvious that he's very flamboyant.
He's fruity, as you would say.
Well, how some would say, I wouldn't say fruity, but he's flamboyant, which is what you expect from somebody who's a vampire
Yeah,
in that setting.
yeah,
Whereas, all of the characters and what he loves about it is that inherently all of the characters are pansexual. One
yeah.
of the things I like is the gendering in conversation, which is never directly pointed out, but is just sort of woven in, is that they have this ser. It's not sir, it's Saer,
Fair.
spoken to both men and women. It is a non-gendered term.
I haven't even realized that.
Yeah, all of it.
That's nice. That's
And
nice.
I love the fact that it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, or even non-binary, because let's get that representation out
Yeah,
there.
my character's non-binary.
So when they say, you know, come along this way, sir, it's not sir. And I feel like a lot of right-leaning people who have played the game have not picked up on that fact either.
I mean, I didn't even pick up on it. I just thought it was an old-timey way to say "sir." If I even realized they were saying that.
Yeah, but that's what it is. It is a non-gendered term. Shout
Hmm.
out to fucking Larian writers.
Larian is great. Larian is great. What else? What else is there to talk about?
I mean, there's the updates on Luigi Mangione and the fact that they'd call him a terrorist.
Oh yeah, and there's also the drones. Okay, so Luigi Mangione, the guy who shot that other guy. That's what
There's
he's
one way to
famous
put it.
for. Yeah, he was shot. He shot the CEO. He's being extradited to New York and being tried with what is essentially terrorism.
I
So
don't think that's a fair fair thing to charge him with. I'll just say that
no,
straight up. I don't think it's fair to charge him with that
no,
because
because terrorism. It's he didn't like I don't know, like terrorism is like a pretty heavy charge.
it
That's
is.
that's
It is
like
something they send you to fucking Guantanamo for.
yeah, that's like he didn't record a video to be like I am
All
going to
CEOs should fear me.
he didn't write a fucking manifesto full of you should all live in fear. It's not an organized group effort. It's just a guy shot a guy with a motive
Yeah,
and
we
yeah,
read his manifesto, I think, near the end of last week's episode,
yeah,
and it basically came down to like
pamphlet.
I did this because the healthcare system sucks and I'm angry.
Yeah. It wasn't very grandiose. It was just, yeah, here's my motive. I killed him because of that. It's not terrorism, really, but they're being extradited to New York because of it anyway. So very much. I think even if his jury says not guilty, they're gonna fucking overrule it and just send him there anyway to prison.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think there's any
You
world
think the
where
money involved is too big for him to go free?
either that or they fucking kill him. Like, I don't know. I don't think he's walking out of this a free man or an alive man. If he goes to prison, he's going to be regarded as a hero. They were already cheering his name when he was in the county jail, like all the prisoners were. They love him. They were like, "Free my man!" From the like, you could hear it from the news broadcast, like that was there covering it locally. They were like, you could hear it, like they love him.
The sad reality of it is, though, is that even if he does like if he goes to prison, even if he is heralded as a hero, the prison system in America is
Horrible.
actually awful,
Yeah.
and there are actually legitimately bad people in there who are still going to fuck with him.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Like this is a reality of the fact that people don't necessarily want to think about, because they hear things like, oh, they cheered his name and he's a hero to these people. It's like, but a lot of the people in prison, well, I won't even say a lot, but there are people in prison who are just legitimately bad dudes,
Yeah.
and they will fuck with them.
Yeah, probably. But it's impossible to say for something like that. I mean, I don't know. There's not really huge development in Luigi's story. Just mostly an ongoing thing that's being covered, and that's the most recent piece of news.
I think the
Um,
more interesting piece is actually, since looking at it and thinking about it, is the small loop around of the older generation.
yeah.
You know,
Uh,
so there were statistics that came out. A poll was done where essentially like the 18 to 29 demographic was what,
41%
41%
either somewhat or mostly
behind,
supportive.
like supporting of what he did. And then obviously as the age ranges went up, like it became less and less support until you got to like, what was it,
60.
the
It was 60 to
65?
69, and then 70 and older. Those two went up
Yeah,
a bit.
the 70 and older started a trend of drop off, and it really has to do with the fact that those are people far more affected by the bad healthcare industry.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, most people who support health, the most people who like their healthcare are people who don't rely on it, or people who don't
Hmm.
use it. So,
Or rich enough to not
yeah.
be heavily affected by it
Yeah,
in that way.
exactly. Exactly. So, like, I feel that like everybody hates healthcare. I think most of that support or most of the non-support comes from the fact that it was murder, not from the fact of like the motive. I
Yeah,
think it was just murder that a lot of people don't like, which
yeah.
is fair. You know, that's fair.
Because there was a statistic at some point, and I don't know the exact numbers, I don't have them in front of me, where it said like more than 80% of Americans can't afford one small emergency.
I think, yeah, I brought up something similar to that. Maybe I just brought up how many people didn't like healthcare, and it was like 81%. I think I brought that up last time. But yeah, it's like bad. Like everyone is
Like,
one emergency away from becoming poor, like
yeah,
broke, like homeless.
like in debt for life,
Yeah,
essentially.
pretty much. Like it's one
And
car accident away in like
let's be
there.
real, in a society where people can fall into in debt for life that easily, we are starting to loop back around to like,
1 second.
if we're throwing people into lifelong debt that quickly and that easily, we are starting to loop back around to a much bigger scale of a new kind of slavery.
Yeah, indentured servitude is making a huge return.
Like, you can't leave your job no matter how bad it is, because unemployment keeps going up around the world. In South Africa, it's over 40%.
Yes, that's like devastating.
Like, it's bad, and this is how this is we are. How do you feel about this statement? Are we reaching towards the end point of capitalism. Not where capitalism is ending, but that end point of
I
we are
think
now indentured to the
I
corporations.
mentioned it as a joke last night, but the end point of it is like your brain is a computer and you're constantly seeing ads. That's the end point, right? The end point is you are a slave on a fucking slum mining planet where you are going to sleep and seeing nothing but advertisements. That's the end point of it.
Yeah,
But if
but
we're talking about
technology has not caught up to that on a real level.
practicality of technology, the end point is indentured servitude. Um, and I think we are rapidly approaching it. But I think the only thing staving that off is the fact that nobody would want to live under that, and they'd probably see a lot of resistance. But if it, who knows to see if the resistance would prevail or be crushed. That's the only
But
thing really
in
against it.
in my feeling, at least, what I'm feeling in my bones is that who can afford resistance?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. It's really
who can
hopeless.
actually afford to quit their job and tell the corporations to go fuck themselves on a real scale? Like, everybody's got
Exactly.
to eat, right?
Hmm.
And who controls the food? Corporations control the food. Everybody's got to live, right? Who controls the housing? Corporations now control the housing.
Exactly.
Like, we're reaching a
It's
point
really
where
dire.
resistance is no longer a question of fighting back against oppression from the government. It's now like even the government is oppressed in many nations.
Yeah. It's completely
Like,
captured by like industry and finance and stuff.
I was browsing a bit of Blue Sky, and it's like Elon Musk apparently is trying to enforce a government shutdown. He's not part of the goddamn government.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Also, a government shutdown is so funny because what would he be accomplishing with a government shutdown? A
Yeah, but
government
he's
shutdown is
saying,
like made for like a crisis of like, oh, we didn't figure out the budget. Shut down the
yeah, but
government
he's
so we could
he's
figure out the
tanking
budget.
he's tanking and threatening people to the point where he's one of the statements apparently was he wants a shutdown of the government until Trump takes office.
That's insane.
It
That's
is insane, but that
crazy.
is the systems we are now living under. And we
Mm.
can't keep ourselves blind to the fact that the American government is now fully oppressed by corporate interests
How can I
on the
com-
left and the right. We
How
know
can
this with the
I
Dems.
turn this into hating on the Democrats?
Well, there you have it. It's the Dems are just as guilty. The
It's the
Democrats
Democrats'
are
fault.
just
It's
as
the
guilty
fault
of
of the
being under the
Democrats.
thumb of the corporate entities that they have signed off their souls to.
I will never forgive the Democrats for as long as I live. I will never forgive them.
I mean, what was it? AOC just lost the thing with the speaker. What's it? The
It was a council
House
position.
Oversight Committee.
Yeah, that's what it was.
House Oversight Committee
They just
to
denied her it.
somebody who, like, they were like, I watched the one video on this, and a lot of the news articles don't even mention the name of the guy who won.
Because
They
nobody gives a
mention
fuck.
AOC losing, which means that the Dems have like not understood the power of a popular figure who stands for something.
Yeah, they just don't
Look,
get it.
for all his evils, Trump is a popular figure who stands for something. That something may be fascism,
And
and
something he
it's
probably doesn't
wrong,
believe in, but he has a thing he stands behind and is consistent about it.
right? But it is fascism. Well,
It's
fascism
fascism.
doesn't actually believe anything.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's just, but
It's power for power's
he's
sake.
consistently inconsistent.
Yes, but that is, I feel, a marker of fascism because fascism is an ideology of power for power's sake.
Yes.
If you get me, like
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
actually like fascism isn't inherently racist, but racism gives them more power, therefore, power for power's sake.
Right.
So it ties into a lot of other ideologies, but on its face, raw, untainted fascism is an ideology of just attaining power and holding power over others. Like the understanding there is that even the people who are quote unquote part of the system in fascism, like obviously World War II Germany is the example of what we understand as fascism, right?
Mm.
Do you really think that the blonde haired, blue eyed, white German civilian had real freedom.
No, not at all.
Exactly. Nobody wins under fascism
Except for the people on
unless
top.
they're in a leadership position.
Exactly. It's like you said, power for power's sake. It's just people who have power, and they exert that power, and that's it. That's what fascism is. It's very
Yeah.
fucking. It's just that's what they want, and people voted for it. They voted for it. Very grim. I want to talk about something less grim.
Because you know what it is?
What?
It's this.
Oh yeah, first they came for the communists, but they did not speak against me. Yeah, I saw this. Yeah, this is on the wall in the Holocaust Museum in DC. At the very end of it, the second
Yeah.
one is.
This is what you can expect under fascism.
Mm-hmm.
And this rings true in Germany, in America, in France, in Britain. Any system that allows itself to fall to fascistic ideals, this is what you can expect.
Yeah.
You are on a list, whether you believe so or not, whether they have publicized it or not. Eventually, that list gets long enough where it includes you.
First, it's Mexican migrants and Muslim immigrants, and then it's like any immigrant, and then it's just black people generally, and then they go, okay, well, we got queer people to take care of. Let's finally get to that part of the list, and then they break it down. Well, we got like I don't know, mentally ill people. Let's take care of them.
Even if you take it as far to the extreme of like, okay, there are only white Christians left, then it becomes which
Disabled.
brand of Christian?
Yeah. Oh, that too. Like, which type of
Like,
Christian? How like are these people? Are these Protestants or are these Anglicans? Are Protestant?
Catholics, like
Anglicans are Protestants.
like eventually we'll be hearing about, did you hear JFK was bad because he was Catholic?
We already hear that. We already hear that.
Exactly. So the propaganda is put in place. This is the issue that most people the civilians on the ground who are supporting fascistic leaders and ideals don't understand. And look, it's not necessarily their fault directly. They're misinformed. They're propagandized to on an extreme scale. And right now, they're in the group that is untouched.
Yeah.
Until they aren't.
Yeah.
And that's the part that they don't see yet.
They don't get it.
Like a lot, like even with the healthcare thing, a lot, and the economy, a lot of the people who voted for Trump did this under like, oh, we're small business owners, but we're not racist. It's like, well, eventually those small businesses belong to bigger corporations, and your name means nothing.
Yeah. It's a lot of people don't realize their fucking position in anything. They're just, oh, it's okay. I mean, the economy will get better if we vote. And then it's like 10 years go by and it's like, oh, the economy is completely in ruins and I am poor, lost my business. And now I am in a homeless shelter that is run under a bridge.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna get rough. I want to stop talking about this because it's making me depressed. I don't have the fortitude right now to be talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, look, on the back end, both you and I have been sort of accosted with a lot of
Shit.
quote unquote conservative talking points.
I
imagine we're both kind of tired of it, but what it's done for me is different in this particular time is that it's inflamed me.
Yeah, for me it's just kind of been like depressing me.
Yeah.
I've just been like, oh, it's really just gonna be like this forever, isn't it? So I want to talk.
Why do you think? I think early on, like even within the first five or six episodes of the podcast, I was like, burn it all down, revolution. right?
Yeah, I get you.
I
I
get that
get
it's
you.
not viable in a practical sense, but it doesn't mean that I don't ideologically stand behind that kind of rhetoric, because
It's
at the
like
end of the day, like, we do still have Bernie Sanders in a government position. We do
mhm,
have that.
not
We
for
we
long.
do
He's gonna
still
die
have
soon.
AOC being one of the most bigger one of the bigger political voices on the left, even though the system is not allowing her into the positions.
Right.
She is still a popular in within the media, so there are still sparks of life.
Hmm. I get what you're
The
saying. Like
revolution's not dead, it's
the
tired.
it's a tired moment right now, but it's not completely done. There's still hope.
Okay, so
Oops. I want to talk about fun things. Drones
Drones,
in my
aliens,
backyard. In my
aliens in
backyard.
Jersey.
So
I saw a headline where apparently Buttigieg was giving Jersey shit for the alien thing.
you know, so I actually am very proud that I heard of this before it made news because I live in this place and I feel a little happy whenever I get to like be on the ground for something that happens here. So I was at work one day and my coworkers were talking about the drones and I was like, the fuck are you talking about? And then someone in my class mentioned like, the fuck are you talking about? And then my family started talking about it and I'm like, oh god. And then like the next day I see headlines about mystery drones in New Jersey and I'm like, what are we doing this time? So people are saying that there are drones over the sky. What the fuck is this video player, AP News? Excuse me? The fuck? Okay. So like
season
I just wanted to
first,
slide
I
here.
just
Like
didn't think
it's a
anything of it until it
drone.
started becoming like
It's a
every night, same
drone.
time, same
It's a plane.
places. So I figured, okay, they must be doing
them on the side.
People are
You
just
don't see
saying
on
that
a
they're
commercial
seeing these like
airline.
scary
See,
drones that are scary. They're so scary. They're just drones. I don't know
It's
what
the
to
Chinese
say.
government
I don't know what to say. They're drones.
working in tandem with aliens.
They're drones. What can I fucking say? What can I even say? They're drones. So what if they're fucking like government? Like if it's like look, if it was something that wasn't supposed to be in the sky, it would have been shot out of the sky, right?
Over America, 100%.
Like we blew up that balloon that we didn't know what it was. Remember that balloon that people were saying was a
Yeah.
Chinese spy balloon? Like we blew that one up. Fuck,
But in
like
US airspace, if it's not meant to be there, that fucker's getting shot down.
yeah.
At least
There
that's my
so
understanding as a
like
foreigner.
I forget who said it. It might have been you. I forget who said it, but they said that is most likely that the drones are just payloads, like they're carrying something, like for Amazon or something. I forget who said that. It was someone I
It
was
wasn't
talking to.
me.
I forget who I was talking to with that, but they were like, it's most likely that they're just like an Amazon drone or something, or like an Amazon like plane that's carrying shit from warehouse to warehouse from New York to Pennsylvania, or they're like their government thing going from one base to another. Like they're big. If it was oh, I remember who it was. It was someone in my class. It was someone in my class. We were talking about We were talking about a project, just kind of babbling for a bit after we finished it. But they were saying that if it was a spy plane or something, it would be a microscopic speck in the sky because it would be a tiny fucking drone with a pin needle camera. It would be imperceptible.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
And
be a fucking
especially in
UAV.
the night sky.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a goddamn U-2 plane over goddamn Russia in the 60s, right? It is a it is a pinpoint camera the size of a prick with like a fucking helicopter rotor from like an RC helicopter on it. That's a spy
Yeah.
plane. So I think it's just stupid. It's stupid. It's dumb. And also most of the
But like,
sightings are planes,
let's
so
let's be honest, right? If it were a foreign government, what the fuck are they seeing in Jersey?
yeah, because like I mean
Like,
I could pull up the map again, but they're looking at like the Jersey suburbs. What the fuck are you doing?
like, what the fuck are they seeing in Jersey? Like, not to give Jersey that kind of shit, but like, what the fuck is really important in Jersey?
Like here's the I don't know. Here's like it. This is where they're being seen. I don't know. I don't feel like clicking the video, but this is where they're being seen.
Yeah, I
Fucking
get you.
Sussex, Warren Morris. Who the fuck is in Monmouth getting spied on? Who the fuck is in Monmouth getting spied on? I've been to Monmouth so many times. You know what's in Monmouth? Nothing. There's
Yeah,
nothing
that's
in
kind of
Monmouth.
my
There's nothing in
the exact
Somerset.
point I'm
There's
making.
nothing in Morris. There's nothing here. I mean, up here you get like New York and stuff, but Sussex? That's mountains. There's nothing over here.
It's kind of like if I saw drones and shit outside my fucking window. It's like, what are you looking at? What are you even looking at?
What are you looking at, buddy? You're looking at nothing. Yeah, I wanted to bring up that story because it's happening in my backyard, and not many things happen in my backyard. Uh, I think it was a fun idea for a story mention because how often does New Jersey make it to headlines?
More often than my neighborhood.
I mean, true, but you also aren't American, so
Yeah, but even
yeah.
by the standards of my country, my neighborhood didn't
I mean,
make the
Cape
news.
Town.
Cape Town, like, but look, Cape Town. Saying Cape Town, like, I really want people to understand, right? When we go and we look, let me just pull it up here. I'm just gonna pull up.
You shouldn't dox yourself.
No, and dox myself.
Like you're on the SqueekyDogCast account, which does not have any pinpoints doxing us.
Exactly. So this is the Western Cape, right?
Yeah.
This is the province I live in.
Mm,
This is the pinpoint for Cape Town.
right.
But like Cape Town is like all of this. Like Cape Town is like
Philadelphia. I'll never get over
pretty
it.
much like all of this
Yeah.
is within the Cape Town sort of idea.
Yeah.
If people live in Paarl, which is its own like city, right?
Mm,
It's one of those like country cities. It's fairly big on its own. But if you lived in Paarl and you spoke to somebody internationally or even like within the nation itself, like as far as Bloemfontein or near that, like you'd be like, I'm in the Cape Town area.
right. It's like
Like the
LA. Like you're
Western,
in the LA area, even if you're not properly in LA. Like
yeah,
New York.
like Cape Town itself just kind of, unless you're out in the farmlands and shit, like Cape Town really is just its own thing.
Yeah.
And it's, the Cape Town area.
I get you. I get you.
I mean, Paul is a couple hours drive away. I think like 2 hours drive away,
That's not a
or
2 hour
maybe like
drive.
90 minutes.
That's an hour. That's an hour drive.
What, like
West of Cape Town to Parle, that's an hour drive.
Cape Town? Where's the directions thing?
Directions are there, the big blue. Big blue.
Right,
Click that. And then start. You can swap them with the arrows there on the right. Or I guess you could do that, yeah, also.
just the easy. Yeah, it's less than an
47
hour's drive.
yeah, there's no way in hell that was
So,
over
like,
2 hours.
there are people who live in Paarl and work in Cape Town.
Yeah, that happens all the time. I think it's very
There
common.
are people who like live all the way here out in
Gordon's
like
Bay.
Pringle Bay and Betty's
Pringle
Bay,
Bay.
and they work in Cape Town.
That looks like a nice drive. The one on the water.
Oh yeah, it's a
Very pretty.
it's
Very pretty.
it's a lot of I don't like this road. But the reason for that is that a bunch of it is, let's see if this is, a bunch of it is like, oh, it didn't even drop me on the fucking road.
I was like, wow, this is a crazy road.
Get me up on the road. There we go. A lot of it is like mountain pass up here.
Oh yeah.
Like on the right you've got rock slides and on the left you've got a dead drop into the fucking ocean. Like you don't necessarily always enjoy this drive if you get my
the road, any road that has a mountain.
It's kind
That's
of
very pretty
on
view though.
on a holiday, but
It's a very pretty view. There's a lot of roads in New Jersey that are just two mountain slopes on either side, especially North Jersey, where there's just two mountain slopes on either side, and they're terrifying to go through. Like you see the nets holding back the rocks, and you're like,
yeah,
oh god,
you get that year with
oh god,
I think it's Solaris, the Laris Pass. think it is.
Yeah, that type of shit. I
Like,
could see it there. Yeah, it's that type of shit. I mean,
there
on
we
in New
go.
Jersey, it's not really cliff's edge on one side. It's more so like going through both of the rocks faces and stuff. But
I don't think it's Solaris. I think I'm getting it wrong. But either
yeah,
way,
driving on a cliff is
like
scary.
there's a bunch of roads around here that are really awful. I remember when I lived around the Fishhook sort of area, this whole thing here, this is all mountain.
Yeah, is
So either you went down the low-lying side,
or you
down
went through it. I
by
could see that road there.
right.
The
This is a mountain
M64.
pass. Yeah, the M64. This is like proper mountain pass.
Oh wow,
And
it's another
did that
trail.
thing
It's
again.
another trail. You're
Oh my
just off the road.
god. Get me on the road. No, little person, why must you fail me so?
Little
Why must
person.
you fail me
Just zoom
so?
in, zoom
Let's
in.
just
There it is.
yeah, O Kaapseweg, which is Old Cape Way. Um, let's just get it like don't put me on a trail
There's road,
that
road,
looks like
road.
road.
Yay.
Yeah. It's just
That is a mountain
it's
pass.
like mountain pass.
That's cool.
And I used to have to drive this like regularly. Cue me like at 100 kilometers per hour blasting through this pass
That
at like
sounds
2 in the
really
morning.
fucking dangerous.
Oh, it is. It is. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I think the speed limit up here is supposed to be like 60 or 80 kilometers per hour,
My
but you can
brain is
see like
cooked. Do you want to know something that just made me realize my brain is cooked?
what?
You said kilometers, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, converting. Like, I wonder what the conversion is. And my brain thought of it like a currency where the value of them can eventually match or whatever. Like it was like the pound to the American dollar or something. My brain is cooked.
Yeah, your
My
brain
brain
is
is
cold.
kind of cooked. I think I need to eat food or something. I haven't eaten in hours.
What's really nice though, right, is once you get through that part of the pass,
But I'll
you see if
put
I
us on
drop
another
it
trail. Yeah,
like you come out of the other side of the mountains there, and then you come over this side, and this is called Sun Valley.
it looks like it.
Look at that. There's like a marshy area.
That's a really nice
There's
view.
like little city, not city, like
A
town,
town. Yeah,
like a big town idea, and then the ocean down that side.
that's really
You
pretty.
you sort of wind down on like after this, you wind down and you go down into Sun Valley, and it's
Yeah,
really fucking nice here. It is actually really legitimately nice here.
that's nice.
Yeah, whenever people try to start saying positive things about South Africa, it's always like the nature is really nice.
It really is pretty. It is pretty. It's a
It's
very
like
pretty
a really
country.
pretty place to stay, but there's not a lot of other like yeah,
Well,
Delft.
Delft. I think we should be wrapping up soon.
Yeah, I
We
think we've ended it on a good note here.
Yeah, we ended up talking about how pretty South Africa is because Africa itself is a very diverse
And
continent.
and there's Robben Island.
Yeah, it's the prison island.
Yeah, well, it's not a prison island
It
anymore
was a prison island.
because I believe the museum
Yeah,
is where the prison used to be. And this is where the housing and stuff used to be for the people who worked in the
yeah, we've
prison.
talked about this on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, that's definitely a prison island.
It's pretty nice. You can take like day trips out on a boat. You go out in the morning, go tour the island, come back in the afternoon from V&A Waterfront. V&A Waterfront. You know who that's named after?
um, no,
Victoria and Alfred.
the butler from Batman.
Yeah, that one.
Victoria loved Batman. All right. All right. I need to eat lunch and shit because it is 1:30 and I have not eaten in hours. Ape wheel. hate Ferris wheels. They scare me. That's
This
nice.
is
I love ports. I love ports.
and this
Shipyards and stuff. I love them.
you see that
Oh, it's a boat. It's the One Piece.
it's a pirate. It's
It's the
modeled after a pirate boat. No,
Going Merry.
this is just a tour boat. These are all tour boats. Because
Going
this,
Merry.
if off to the picture side here is the Tiger Valley, or not Tiger Valley, the V&A waterfront, which is a giant shopping center sort of mall thing for tourists.
Mhm.
Like here's hotels in the back, big mall for tourists, and then tourist boats. This is what this port is. It's not a sort of shipping thing. It's
a marina.
it's a marina. Yeah.
I love boats.
Yeah, you can actually
love
see.
them.
There's the amphitheater.
That's
There's
so
that
nice.
marina we were looking at. This is
Yeah, that's the
that
building.
mall.
I love waterfronts. I love
Oh,
boats.
look.
Oh, it's so cool.
You can hire trips on this.
That's so cool. I love this. I love waterfronts. I love marinas. I love boats. I love shipyards. I love docks. I love boats.
If you do ever make it here, this is a place I would take you.
Yay!
And
Yay.
I've never even been on this thing.
Ferris wheels scare me.
I don't do heights.
Yeah, but I'll be there, so it'll be two of us freaking the fuck out on a Ferris wheel. Bugging out.
Oh, look,
Big
Christmassy
tree.
shit.
Jade,
We'll just end on this,
we
right?
have to end it. I need to eat food.
We'll just end on this.
We'll
This
end on
image.
this little Christmas tree. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Happy Yule.
Happy Yule. Merry Christmas. Merry Santa
Yuletide
Day.
blessings.
Merry Santa Day. We hope you all have a good holiday. Best wishes from the Squeaky Dog and the dog Squeaky. Goodbye. Merry Christmas. Goodbye.